just in which you feel balanced and stable, in alignment. And allow the awareness to pull from the world around you to the world inside of you. And allow the breath to be an anchor, like a magnet. Feel that breath pull the awareness, the attention, the focus from all of the places where it's distracted. Pulls it inward like a magnet pulls iron filings automatically toward it. Let that breath be a magnet for your awareness. As you inhale, feel the waters of Mother Ganga flowing into you. I know that may sound weird, but allow it to happen. Not the physical molecules. You're not going to suffocate and gasp. But allow yourself as you inhale to feel that energy, feel that flow. Feel the blessings and the presence. As you inhale, feel it all flowing into you and through you. Notice the way that the cells of your being get touched and filled as these waters flow in and through you. And notice the way that places within you that feel stuck or contracted, allow that sacred flow to flow right into and through them all. Loosening, letting go. Feel those waters of Mother Ganga flowing through you. Anything that's stuck, any pain, grudges, unfulfilled expectations, attachments, frustrations, all of this stuff that just wedges itself inside of us. Feel those waters of Mother Ganga flowing in and flowing through them. And as you exhale, so on the inhalations, you feel yourself taking in this water of Mother Ganga. And on the exhalations, allow yourself to let go into her waters. Whatever you feel like you're holding on to, just really consciously, as you exhale, exhale into that flow. And as the breath flows through you, allow it to carry holding on to. Just exhale and let it go into Ma Ganga's waters as she carries it out to the ocean, out into the universe. If your mind wanders, just bring it back. If you notice a sound or a smell or a sensation, don't worry. But don't allow your awareness to get distracted. Just bring it back to the breath and to the flow of Mother Ganga flowing through you. Slowly and gently, bring the palms of your hands together at chest level in Namaste. And gently rub the palms of your hands against each other. And press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly and gently, lower your hands and open your eyes. I will not be here tomorrow. I will be out for one night. We'll be back again day after tomorrow on the 3rd. But I'll announce this again at the end. But just in case I forget, just in case anyone has to leave early, we won't be having satsang tomorrow evening. We'll start again day after tomorrow. I have to go out of town. So starting as we always do, with a question that's come in from our family joining us from all over the world through this beautiful gift of technology. Then we open it up to any questions that anyone here has. There's a microphone, so if you have a question, do not be shy. Just come up, share your name, share where you're from, and share your question. But we begin, as always, with one that's come in advance. How to control overthinking. This has been asked on Instagram by Kashmir Singh. how to control overthinking. So you cannot deal with overthinking by controlling it. Because when you try to control it, all you do is you end up with the energy of the monkey mind jumping in a smaller box. Because what our control does is it aims to repress, suppress, squash. The mind is still jumping. You can't actually control the mind itself in that way. So the mind is still jumping, and all I've done is I've exerted this pressure onto it. I've created a very high pressure situation. And in the high pressure situation, my mind is still jumping. So you have still the jumpiness, but on top of it, you've got this death grip. You've got this ever contracting box going, don't think that, don't think that, don't think this. As anybody who's ever tried to tell themselves, don't think that knows, doesn't work. And yet, we have beautiful tools and beautiful techniques to free ourselves from overthinking. It's not about controlling it, it's about freeing it. Raise your hand if you've ever watched carefully a cow chew its food. Does anybody raise your hand if you've ever actually watched a cow eat? Okay, only a small handful of you. So spend some time sitting on the banks of Ganga. There's lots of cows. It's very interesting. What they do is they go like this. Now, I mention that because the word rumination, which literally means overthinking, the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, actually came into our language having nothing to do with our mind and everything to do with a cow's mouth and digestion. It is a word that literally describes how a cow chews its food, which is great for the cow's digestion. It basically liquefies the food before it swallows it. Over and over and over and over. It's really interesting to watch it, like a little bit of food that just... But it's great. The cow's digestion must be fantastic. I mean, we're all told, chew your food 30 times before you eat it. The cow seems to chew it like 200 times. But I mention this because the first step in freeing ourselves from overthinking is stopping and saying, where in the world did I decide to turn my mind into a cow's mouth? Like, where in the world did I decide that which was healthy for a cow's digestion is actually a good way for my brain to function? It isn't. It's great for a cow. It's very bad for us in the brain. If you want to chew like a cow, go right ahead. It's good for your digestion. Bad for the brain. We then stop and we say, okay, there's two types of overthinking. One is what fills up most of our brains, which is really just complete and utter nonsense. If you stop and you actually watch your mind, it's very humbling. Because most of us think we're really deep thinkers. Most of the time, we are not. Most of the time, that which fills most of our mind is superficial, tiny nothingness. If you actually follow it, just with pure awareness, watching it move, it's stream of consciousness that actually would mortify you. But that's great. I mean, it's wonderful to know that. The solution to that is actually really quite simple. It's meditation, which trains our brain how to be on one thing focused at a time. Our breath, for example, like we were just doing. A word, a mantra, a candle flame, an image, a prayer. We are giving the mind something to do. I have a beautiful opportunity to share a weekly kind of talk show on one of India's two biggest spiritual channels called Sanskar Channel. And we were just spent the last 3 days doing 6 months worth of shooting. We shot like 30 episodes in 2.5 days. But she asked me this exact same question, the anchor. And it was actually perfect because she had brought her young kids here to Rishikesh from Delhi to do the filming. And her little girl was with her mother, toddler age. The little boy is maybe 4 or 5. And he kept coming and trying to interrupt the shooting. And so they kept cut, and she would say, "Mommy's filming, Mommy's shooting, go sit over there." And finally, she had a notebook and a pen in which she was writing the topics that we were talking about, her next question. And she finally hands him her notebook and pen, and she says, "Go sit over there and draw a picture." It's perfect. Perfect solution. So I was able to say to her, exactly like you just did with your son, your ultimate goal was not about the picture. Your ultimate goal was he should stop interrupting our filming. But if you simply say to a little kid, "Sit down and be quiet," you go 10, 9, 8, 7, and long before you get to 1, the kid is up and running around again. It's the nature of being a kid. It should be like that. So what do? You give them something to do. Play with this. Hopefully not a device. Give them something else. Same way. The mind jumps all over the place. Give it something to do. Now, ideally, give it something that is actually not just engaging and entertaining, but actually something meaningful. Hence, a mantra, a prayer, the breath. Something that the mind is meant to be focused on. It pulls it from jumping around onto one place, and it actually inspires and elevates and transforms us and gives us the benefit of that japa practice, that mantra practice. So that's the easiest way. These practices of meditation, practices of mantra jap, all of these practices, they immediately retrain the brain, take it from being all over the place to being in one place. There's another option, though. Sometimes we overthink about a very specific topic. There is something we need to solve. Do I want to marry this guy or not? Should I let my daughter marry that guy or not? Are we moving house? Are we not moving house? Should I take this job? Should I not? We actually have to solve it. This issue. Or if I'm overthinking because I'm having a conflict with a family member, a friend, a coworker, okay, tomorrow, 8 a.m., I'm going to call them. We're going to meet for coffee or tea, whatever it may be. We are going to sort this out. I'm going to write them a letter. I'm going to give them a call. I'm going to go to their house. I'm going to sort it out. Don't allow it to come into you all the time. Once you tell your brain, this is the exact time that I'm going to work on this, the brain becomes quiet. It's like some of you may have noticed, you sit down to meditate and immediately your to-do list starts to form. Oh my God, I forgot to send that email. Oh my God, I have to call that person. And that's why it actually can be really helpful just before you sit to meditate. Make a list of all the things you got to do. Keep a pad and a pen near where you meditate. If things are coming to you that really, okay, stop for a moment, write them down, go back to meditation. At least you don't have to allow the mind to keep doing that. Jot it down. So 2 different types of overthinking. One, we actually have to deal with it. So deal with it. Don't ruminate on it, just deal with it. But sometimes in that category comes something that cannot actually be dealt with. Somebody said something to us that hurt us. We're upset. We're ruminating. How dare they? It's not fair. I'm so nice. They're so mean. What did I do to deserve this? Now, thoughts like that are utterly and completely useless. All they do is steal our time, make us miserable. And as our Dr. Kanaji will attest, I am sure, increase our risk of heart attack. The more my mind is filled with grievances, grudges, anger, resentment, stress, the higher my cortisol goes, the greater my risk of heart issues and so many other issues. So a really good rule of thumb is, if you can do something about it, do it. If you can't, let it go. It's like that beautiful, beautiful prayer, that serenity prayer that they say, oh God, grant me the courage. Hang on. Grant me the courage to change the things. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Can't change it? Ask. Can change it? Great. Have courage, change it. Not while you're meditating, but afterwards. It has a set time. Do it in that time. And wisdom to know the difference. But, going back to the first type, if it's just the nonsense, it's about this today, it's about something else tomorrow, it changes every 5 minutes, it changes every hour, then a fantastic practice of meditation and mantra japa is your best solution. And japa, of course, isn't only done while you're, seated with your eyes closed and you have your mala in your hands. As you move through the world, you're in line at the grocery store, you're sitting in a really stressful board meeting, you're having a difficult conversation, you're grocery shopping. Allow that mantra to be on. It anchors you, it grounds you, it reminds you, and it stops the overthinking. And slowly, I always say the mind is like a muscle. Slowly, it will develop the habit, the muscular ability to stay calm, to stay anchored. But you got to work it like a muscle. Great. Other questions? Yes, please.
Actually is related to what you just answered. I wanted to know, when do we know that we have to sit with discomfort and emptiness, and when is it an inner call to move on?
Great. And what is your name and where are you from?
My name is Mariam and I'm from France.
Wonderful. When do we have to sit in discomfort, heal it, and when do we move on? It actually is in the ability to sit with the discomfort that we learn when we need to move on. A choice to leave a relationship, a situation, a circumstance should never be made unless you are being abused in some way, physically, sexually, emotionally, spiritually. In that case, run as fast as you can. Get out. But if you are not, instead of running immediately, because you don't want to make a decision in reaction, our choices in life should mostly be made in moving toward something rather than moving away from something. There are some times in life in which we have to move away. There is harm. There is abuse. There is exploitation. There is suppression. Absolutely move away from it. Any place is better than this. And yet, other than that, in general, decisions should be about where I am moving toward rather than what I'm walking away from. Because in most cases, the lesson actually is in learning to sit with it. Because we tend to find what we need to work with wherever we go. And it's why the same patterns keep coming up in our life. Right? You notice, why is it that every guy that I date treats me like my father did? Well, because you need to learn to deal with it. Not accept it always. Sometimes what we have to learn to do is actually heal it in us and move on. But we're going to keep getting patterns in relationship, in jobs, in projects, in life that are exactly what we need to work with. So if you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation that some part of you is saying, I need to move on, if there isn't harm, I would really encourage you to see what happens when you sit with it. Because sometimes there is a really important life lesson in shifting something inside instead of always looking to shift something outside. Changing the outside situation, new house, new city, new job, it's relatively easy. But in the world of psychology, that's what we call pulling a location. Pulling a location. It means it's a defense mechanism. Here in this home, in this city, in this job, I am depressed. If I were simply on a beach in Tahiti drinking a pina colada, I would be so happy. Pulling a location. Because when I end up on the beach in Tahiti, I'm still there. And the thing that made me depressed, again, unless it is harm coming from outside, the thing that made me depressed is my way of thinking, my way of living, my way of expecting, my way of acting, my inner attachments. And I'm going to carry them with me to the beach of Tahiti. And pretty soon I'm going to find myself miserable there. So in general, the rule of thumb is sit down, close your eyes, and allow whatever the present moment is presenting to alchemically transform itself within you. And then see what happens. You may still decide to leave. It doesn't mean that we always stay. But it means that when you leave, then you're leaving from a place of consciously moving towards something else rather than in reactivity. Because our life is not meant to just be reactive. Our life is meant to be creative and co-creative. But if we're constantly just moving out of situations, out of relationships, out of jobs that are not ideal, according to whatever vision I have, then we never actually find an internal ability to be okay within. Then we just bounce around like the ball in a pinball machine that gets, pulled and let go, and I bounce here and a light goes on, I bounce there and a bell dings. So see whether you can sit with it. See whether you can become okay, grounded, anchored in that situation. And from that place then, from that place of total okayness, total peace, you may still decide that you're being called somewhere else. Okay. But try not to do it in reactivity. Try to do it from a place of, here we are. Here we are. And yeah, in this breath, in this moment, I'm okay. Other questions? Yes, of course.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Sadhviji, for such great answers for daily life problems or probably queries. So my query is specifically about how to manage ego, right? So on the spiritual path, you meet saints. There are some saints who are probably followers of Buddha or Christ who say that, okay, you get slapped on one face, you put forward the other cheek, and then you read about the saints who are fiery and they were debating around to probably establish the righteousness, right? Or like Krishna who motivated Arjun to fight at that moment, right? So, but in both the cases, whether you're calm or whether you're fighting for rights or for people, it somehow flourishes that ego, right? Like I could have smashed the face of the person, but I was calm. Or probably I spoke and the other person just went silent, right? So how do we keep a watch on this ego and keep on managing it while following the mark of our Gurudev or saints?
Great, yeah. Watching the ego is one of the greatest spiritual practices. You will notice it is very clever. It has multiple masks and hats and costumes. It appears in multiple ways. It speaks multiple languages. It has the ability to convince you that it is everything, that it's your best friend, that it's your inner voice, that it'll tell you everything. And it requires what we call vivek, the power of discrimination, to really look at the self. This is why we actually wear the tilak here. Because this eye, the third eye, the Agya Chakra, is the energy center of the power of discrimination, to see truth from falsehood. The ego tends to be loud. These are just some tendencies. It tends to be loud. It tends to be a bit frenetic and frantic. Show them now. Who do they think they are? Do it now or you're going to miss the chance. They're going to get there first. Push them out of line. So it tends to be loud. It tends to be frantic and frenetic. And the ego tends to operate in separation. Us versus them. So the ego tells you stories about scarcity. There's not enough opportunity, money, happiness to be had. Therefore, you better get there first, push them out of the way, do whatever you need to do. It operates in scarcity. It operates in separation Others are separate from you. You are this body, this story, what you have, what you own. So the ego tends to be all about collection. Truth is all about connection. So wherever you find that there's a voice in your head basically saying, if I had more of this, I would be happier. I would be more successful. I would finally be in peace. That's ego. When you hear a voice in your head that says, if it weren't for that guy, I would have gotten the promotion. Ego. When you hear a voice in your head that says, you will never, or you are not, you will never succeed, you will never find love, you will never find your purpose, no one will love you, no one will appreciate you, you will never have what you need. This is also ego. Ego is not only arrogance, ego is all of the stories that we tell ourselves that are rooted in this idea that we are somehow separate in this universe, separate from the divine, separate from each other, separate from the creation. So just watch it. Watch the way that it comes up at every minute, every moment. Even you sit to meditate, the ego tends to do one of a few things. Either it says, oh, this isn't working, this is so stupid. I never should have come here, I should have gone for pizza instead. You're not spiritual, you'll never be spiritual, this stuff doesn't work. Or it says, oh, listen to the guy next to me, swallowing. I don't swallow when I meditate. My meditation is deeper than theirs. See, they're swallowing, they're fidgeting. I never swallow or fidget. Or it'll say, oh my God, I'm fidgeting. Guy next to me hasn't swallowed in 6 minutes. Everybody else's meditation is so much deeper than yours. You're a failure at this. If you were a good meditator, you wouldn't have to swallow so much. You see the games it plays? Just a little few-minute meditation. And the ego comes in so many ways with so many different stories. And you just notice it. Don't try to fight it. You just notice it. And you go back. You go back to doing what you're doing. Don't try to kill it. Don't try to annihilate it because it's listening. Just come back, come back, come back. It's going to coexist with you, okay? You know, part of the package of human life is this roommate that we have, basically. And the roommate can be a challenge, but only a challenge when we pay a lot of attention to it or give it the keys to the car. The less attention you pay, the quieter it becomes. And then you start to string together many, many minutes, even hours at a time, where you're like, oh my God, my ego went to sleep. Like it hasn't said anything in hours. Look at that. Because even a child knows when we're not paying attention, gives up eventually. So the ego gets louder and more persistent the more attention we pay to it. So it's a lifelong practice. Understand that the ego was formed theoretically in your benefit. Like the ego thinks it's doing us a favor. It thinks it's protecting us. It doesn't view itself as our enemy. The dilemma is it doesn't see the fullness of ourself. It actually sees us as separate. It sees the world as scarce. So it thinks it's doing us a favor by getting us all riled up It thinks it's doing us a favor by making us have really low expectations of ourselves so that we're never disappointed. So don't hate it, don't try to kill it, just understand that it doesn't really see things properly. And just stop listening. Great. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. As I said in the beginning, but for anyone who came in late, I will not be here tomorrow. I will be out of town, but I will be back day after tomorrow on the 3rd, which is Monday. So I look so forward to seeing hopefully most of you on Monday. And so much love to you all.
Hi. Thank you, Sadhviji, for these beautiful words of wisdom. I would like to let you know that if you did not have a chance to ask your question, you can send email, or you can find Sadhviji on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can send the question. Put your name and your email address, and then we will let you know when your question is going to be answered. Also, we have a box right there, and then some papers. You can write the question and put on the box. Sadhviji also has a podcast, Ask Sadhviji. You can find in many platforms and watch, and YouTube. Please stay connected. It's very good to have you with us. Have a good night.